In this video, I'm going to give you my 5 best tips to help you win more games in college football 25. Now, I have real tips that will actually help you because unlike most YouTubers, I have been competing in football games for a very long time. And along the way, I've made thousands of dollars and coached hundreds of players. Now make sure to subscribe to the channel to become the best college football player you can be, and without further ado, let's get straight into it. Now the first tip is to custom stem your routes. More specifically, you should custom stem your post and corner routes strategically. Now first, let me break down how to custom stem your routes. This is actually really easy. So to do this, you're gonna press triangle or Y on Xbox to bring up your receiver menu. And then once you bring up your receiver menu, you're gonna press the receiver icon you need. So for example, I'm just gonna press triangle and this will bring up my receiver. So then what we're gonna hit is custom stem. Now not all routes can be custom stemmed, but most can. So right now triangle is on a corner route. It's going at about a 9 yards of depth, but what you will see is when I custom stem it, I'm just holding L1 and moving the left stick up and down, and this actually allows me to either lower the corner route or increase the depth of the corner route, and it's extremely effective. You can do it with any player on the field as long as they have a custom stemmable route. So for example, if I tried to do this out route, just remember triangle or Y, the receiver icon, then hold L1 and then go up and down with the left stick. And as you can see, I could depth this out route as far as possible if I wanted to. You could even make it so far that it's basically a streak, and you can make it so low that it's basically a very quick 1 yard out route. And it's really effective, and I'm gonna show you a bunch of different use cases. Now let's talk about how to custom stem your post routes while also showing you how to beat the most common coverage in the game. Now first, I'm gonna put on a regular post, and then when I snap this ball, we're gonna be able to throw this post for about 20 yards, and it's an easy possession catch the majority of the time. However, if you wanted to bomb a defense, really get deep and score in one play, you're gonna see that this post doesn't actually work. So I'm gonna create a cover 3 bomb formula that works in college football 25. I'm gonna put triangle on a streak, X on a corner route, circle on a drag, and then I'm gonna put square on a post. Now this is a cover 3 defense that this bombs because we have 3/3 and we actually distract all of them, which should leave the post open. However, you're gonna notice that this doesn't actually happen. So if I go to throw this post route, you're gonna see that it is covered completely by the outside third that the corner is playing. So what are we gonna do about it? That's where the custom stem feature comes in. So we're gonna press triangle or Y, then square, and then we're gonna hold the left bumper. So first we're gonna put them on a post, then we're gonna hold the left bumper and press up on the left stick 2 notches. So what you're gonna see is that creates a super deep post. So if we create this cover 3 bomb formula the exact same way, you're gonna see a completely different result that works 100% of the time as long as you get time in the pocket. So what you see is that the square receiver is wide open for an easy dot in the back corner of the end zone against cover 3. So when you want to bomb a defense or really get over a defense, and especially bomb cover 3, you want to stem that deep post, and that will make it way more open against a cover 3 defense for a deep 1-play touchdown. But if you just want a few yards, you just want about 20 yards, you can just use a regular post, or you could even stem the post down. So it just makes it very easy for you to get 15 to 20 yards and get beneath any deep outside zones. Now let me show you how to custom stem your corner routes based on the situation. So the first thing I'm going to do is put a regular corner route on the field. The problem is, even when I go against a super basic defense like cover 3, you're gonna see that the corner route is basically completely covered. So when I snap the ball and go to throw this corner route, you're going to see the outside third in the cover 3 is going to intercept it or swat it away every single time. And that's where custom stemming comes in. If we create this exact same route combo, but instead hit that receiver icon with the corner on him one more time and stem him all the way down, we're actually gonna be able to throw this corner route wide open. So when I snap this ball, you're gonna see that the corner is wide open for an easy rack catch because we lowered the depth of the corner. This actually changes when they go to something like a cover 2 defense, where we have the 2 deep zones on the safeties. When they do have something like this, and you run a corner route at the lowest possible depth, like so, you're gonna see that the corner route's actually covered pretty well, and the cloud flat will actually make a play on it the majority of the time. So when you play a cover 2 defense where they have cloud flats on their outside corners and they're playing a little bit deeper and there's no really deep outside zone, that's when you want to use a regular corner route or even a corner route stemmed a little higher. And what will happen is when we snap this ball, you're going to see that the square receiver is wide open over the cloud flat for an easy dot. So in general, pay very close attention to the defense your opponent is in, and then adjust your custom stem on your corner route to respond to it. Now in this second tip, I'm going to show you how to set up a double Mabel coverage defense, which is considered the best coverage defense in the competitive football community. Now first, let me show you exactly what double Mabel is. Double Mabel defines using 2 flat zones, 1 curl flat and 1 cloud flat on each side out of a cover 2 base defense. When you run double Mabel, it is also important to set your zone drops. In this defense, people will put their flats at 30 yards and their curl flats at 5 yards. Now this defense will bag routes like corners, crossers, and drags, which are some of the most common routes that people use in college football 25. Now the first step to creating your own double Mabel is, as I mentioned, go to your coaching adjustments and set your zone drop flats to 30 and your curl flats to 5. It's really, really important. And then we're just gonna call the cover 2 in your formation. So I'm in 3-3 min, so I'm just gonna call Tampa 2. And right now we have the 2 cloud flats on the field and then 2 hook curls. So what we're actually going to do is put those hook curls in curl flats. So I'm gonna press right on the D-pad twice, put X on a curl flat. So right on the D-pad, X, and then left on the left stick, and then triangle, triangle, L1, and then left on the left stick. So right now we have 2 curl flats on the field as well as 2 cloud flats. And if you're even more advanced, you can actually put this defensive end in a vert hook, and then you can also back off both of your outside corners by pressing triangle or Y, pressing individual, which is X, the receiver that your corner is closest to. So let's say I'm on the left side, I'm gonna do that for the square receiver because he's closest to our outside corner. Press square and then up on the right stick. And that'll move the cloud flat back to make sure really nothing gets over him. And then you can do the same thing, but with the circle receiver on the right side of the field. So really we have the ultimate double Mabel defense set up right now. The flats will be covered by our curl flats. The deep clouds will cover anything deep to the sideline, and the vert hook will cover that in-between area that we are not responsible for as a user. So we can sit and patrol this middle of the field and really force our opponent to throw at our user. So let's say our opponent is in the play just bench, and this is a common play you may see online. If they do try to run this, you're going to see that when they try to throw the deep corner routes, they're completely covered by our 30-yard clouds because they're nearly impossible to throw over. And then if they tried to throw something else, let's say they tried to throw the flat routes here, let's say they try to throw this out route on the left. If they try to throw this route, you're gonna see our flat is all over it to the point where we're set up for an easy pick 6. And that's pretty much why I like double Mabel so much, is because it really forces your opponent to throw over the middle of the field because the sideline is completely covered. And if you stay later in this video, I actually have a bonus tip that will make your double Mabel or heavy coverage defenses even better. So definitely stay tuned for that. Now the third tip is to disguise your coverage defense. Now disguising your coverage is important because it makes it difficult for your opponent to read your defense. For example, on this play, I am in a cover 3 defense, but I'm showing a cover 2 by having 2 high safeties, and as a result, my opponent will think the deep middle is wide open, when in reality, I have an inside third there. And because of that, on this play, your opponent might throw it directly at your safety, resulting in an interception. Now let me show you exactly how to disguise your defense. So the first step in disguising your defense, and really the only step, is just clicking on the formation that you want to run. So in this case, we're just in nickel 3-3 mint again. We're gonna click on that, and what you're gonna see in the middle of the screen is something called shell. And right now beside it, it says default. It's right beside the coaching adjustments. So when you move the right stick, you can actually create different shells based on the defenses you have in the formation. Now I'm gonna show you what I mean. So in 3-3 mint, we have cover 0, we have cover 2 man, we have cover 2, cover 4, and cover 6. If we go to 3-3 double mug though, they don't have all of these defenses. So you can see all we can really show in a 3-3 double mug is cover 0, cover 2, and cover 3. So the rules are you can only show the shells that are available in that formation. Usually heavy blitzing formations have less shells than others, and that's why 3-3 double mug has less shells. What you're gonna do is set your shell to anything you want. So let's say I'm gonna run a cover 2 defense, but I want to show a cover 0 alignment. So I'll come out in Tampa 2, but I have my alignment set to cover 0, and right now we're showing a cover 0 alignment. Everyone is in a man alignment with the receivers, and then of course the slot corner is sitting right on top of the slot receiver, just showing once again a man alignment. The safety is man aligned with the tight end, and even this safety is pulled down a little bit further. So you can see we're showing a cover 0 defense, but we're actually in a cover 2 defense. So that's just an example of how you can disguise your defense. Another great example is, let's say we wanted to show a cover 2 defense, but we're actually going to be in a cover 3. So I'll call cover 3, but my shell on screen is a cover 2. So what you can see is that I have a cover 3 on the field, but I have 2 safeties, which make it, of course, a cover 3 defense. So this is great in preventing your opponents from reading your defense, and you can really catch people off guard. If you're serious about getting better at college football 25, you should definitely check out my exclusive content on victoryformation.gg. In it, we already have over 8 tips in the laboratory, as well as my full Charlotte tight doubles game plan. Just 2 of the tips I've already dropped include the best money route combo in the game and the meta blitz defense all the pros are using. And just because I love college football 25, I'm actually extending my pre-release sale to July 28th. So if you use code CFB25, you can get $30 off the already discounted yearly price, making it only $60 for the entire year of Madden and college football. Tip number 4 is using the switch stick to get easy interceptions, especially in flat zones. Now the switch stick is a brand new feature that allows you to switch to any coverage defender using your right stick. Now first, let me show you exactly how to use the switch stick. To use the switch stick, it's actually remarkably simple. The only things you actually need to know is that your user must not be in a blitz. If he's in a blitz, you can't use the switch stick. But as long as he's in a zone, man coverage, or anything but a blitz, you'll be able to use the switch stick. The other thing that you should know is that the switch stick is relative to your player's position. So if my player is all the way over here and I move my right stick to the right, it's not gonna go to this linebacker right here. It's actually gonna go to this corner because he's the person beside me where I'm currently at. So pay close attention to that and where your player is relative to the other players on the field. So let me show you exactly how to use it just in an environment where I'm just gonna keep using it. So right now I wanna be on the safety, up on the right stick. Wanna be on the other safety, left on the left stick. Wanna be on the linebacker, now I'm on the linebacker. Want to be back to this corner to go cover R1? Great. I want to go cover circle. Okay. Well, now we got to get back to the safety. Here we are. Now the circle's covered. I want to go back to cover R1. Okay, now we're coming back. So it's really, you just move the right stick in the direction that you want to go to relative to your player's position. It's remarkably simple. You can move really anywhere you want on the field during the play, and it's very effective and great when blitzing. So that's really how to use the switch stick. You just move the right stick in the direction you want to go based on where you're currently at. Super basic, super effective, and I highly recommend you implement it into your game. Now that you understand the switch stick, I'm gonna show you a couple ways I like to use it. Pretty much all of those ways include blitzing. I think if you're playing coverage, you don't necessarily need to use the switch stick too much, simply because you have so many players in coverage, they have their individual responsibilities, and you should keep your responsibility of your user to anything that could get open outside of your coverage defense. But when you're blitzing, there's a lot of things that could get open. This is when I really like to bait my opponent into making a mistake. So let's say I'm gonna blitz this corner on the left side of the field. This is a great outside blitz, send 5 blitz. It'll usually come in at the quarterback very quickly. But immediately, if they run something, let's say like quick slants, so let's just call quick slants right here. So if they run quick slants, you know that this table route could be wide open for an easy dot. In fact, I'll show you. Gonna snap the ball, and you can see this table route is open, and we're gonna be able to take that for a 15-20 yard gain. So you could note that in your mind during the game, or you could know that already that they could look to that table route. So what are you gonna do? You can actually use the switch stick. So we're gonna leave everything the same. We're gonna put our user in a hook curl. The other thing that's important is that you don't want your user to be useless after you click off of him. So a mid-read is a decent zone. A hook curl is a great zone. You could even have him manned up to triangle, user, and then get off of him later in the play. But in general, I'm just gonna put him in a hook curl. So let's say they look to this table route again. So let's put they call slants. They're gonna look to this table route. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna switch stick onto this corner and come down to look to intercept or tackle the running back for a short gain. So let's show this in this play. They snap the ball, I switch stick onto the corner, and right like that, I'm on top of the running back. So let's show on instant replay exactly what I did and likely how it would play out in a game situation. So when you see they snap the ball and the running back table route is open, but I immediately switch stick off of the middle linebacker to the outside corner, right? And then I come right down to go and play the table route. So if they were to go and throw this table route, you would see that this would likely be a pick or at worst a tackle for a loss. That's my favorite way to use it, is with the flats. The other way to use it, and this is also with flats, but it's the reverse. If I instead have a hard flat on this outside corner, so he's playing super low on this play, you know that a corner route could get open against it. So if they just put a corner route, maybe they stem him all the way down, or they want to get over him, so they stem him up a little bit, they do something like this. You know the table route is covered, and they're gonna look at your hard flat very quickly and see, okay, the table route's covered. That's when you can really take advantage here. So when they snap the ball, you're gonna switch stick onto your corner, and then you're gonna go and cover the corner route. So in this case, instead of coming down to the table route, because they're gonna see, oh, this guy's actually playing really low. You can see he's just sitting at this depth. The table route is going to be covered. They're not gonna look at it. Then they're gonna look at their corner route. That's their second read. That's when you switch stick on to this corner, this outside corner here, and then go and run upwards to play the corner route. And that could leave you for some very easy interceptions. And this is probably the best way to use the switch stick, is blitzing out of cover 2, cover 3 defenses and switch sticking onto your flats to play down or above the routes they're supposed to be covering. So yeah, definitely use switch stick. It's super effective at all levels, competitive, casual, and it's the best when blitzing. Now this fifth tip you're gonna find nowhere else, and that's using cutback runs. This style of running is easily the most efficient way to move the football in all of college football 25. So first, the prerequisites for cutback running are you definitely want to be calling an inside zone or a halfback quick base where you have a blocker on the opposite side of where you're running, and you also want to make sure you're running to the left, because when you have a right-handed quarterback, the handoffs are faster when you're handing it off to the left. Small little detail, but it's very important. So if you can do that and set up to have multiple blockers to the right, it's even better. So opposite where you're sending your handoff or where you're handing the ball off. So to do this, it's very simple. All we're gonna do is run opposite of where the ball is going. But we wanna make sure that we're holding off turbo. We're not pressing the right trigger. We're gonna do this and just turn around nice and quick. And you can see that there's usually a wide open lane for us. The reason this is, and the reason it's so easy for us to cut outside like that, is because when we run left, the defense has its run left run fits on. But when we run right, they have a different run fits. So when we're running opposite where the run fits are supposed to be, the defense doesn't really know how to react. So when I snap this ball and just run straight to the right, you can see that the defense doesn't react until I'm pretty much already 5 yards down the field. This is an easy way to guarantee 5-6 yards. And if you're really smart, you can actually motion people over to the side you're cutting back to, get an extra blocker on that side of the field, snap the ball, and what you will see is that if you can get that extra blocker, you can end up getting some real gigantic gains and oftentimes some touchdowns. So definitely abuse cutback runs. Number one, you want to do it in shotgun. Number two, you want to be running to the left. And number three, you want to have a blocker on the side that you're going to be running to, right? You pair that with some great spin moves, some great jukes, and you have yourself a great ground and pound offense. Since you've stayed this far, I'm going to give you a bonus tip that will allow you to guarantee 3-man sheds whenever you play coverage. To actually do this, what you're going to do is set up your 3-man rush just like everybody else. But if you do this, there's a huge problem. When you send 3 players and your user is in a zone, the game doesn't recognize a 4-man rush. So it sees it as a 3-man rush, and the defensive line won't perform very well. As you can see, our opponent could have basically unlimited time in the pocket if they stepped up. However, if we do something called tricking the game into thinking we have 4 blitzers on the field, what we're going to do is first have 3 blitzers and then blitz our user by pressing X or A on Xbox and down on the right stick. And then if we come close enough to the line of scrimmage where the pass rush bar is up, that tricks the game into thinking you are sending a 4-man rush. So the pass rush bar is just the 2 little dots above our user's head. And what will happen here now is that when we do this, our defensive line will have a much better job or a much better time at shedding. As you can see, we immediately shed the offensive line on that play because we had our user blitzed and we were close enough to the line of scrimmage. So once again, to set this up, you blitz your user, come close enough to the line of scrimmage where the pass rush bar is up, and if you send only 3 people, you will still get very, very good sheds in the majority of cases, sometimes even splitting double teams. Like right there, you could see that player went for a swim move and still shed. But if we did it the other way, where we had a 3-man rush and we weren't blitzing our user, you're gonna see that they have unlimited time. So definitely do this a lot. The main thing is you can't switch stick when doing this. So if you run this and you try to switch stick, it won't actually work. But you don't necessarily need to switch stick when you're playing this much coverage. So keep that in mind. There is kind of a drop off there, but nonetheless, you need to be able to send 3 people and get sheds, and this allows you to do exactly that. Thank you for watching this video, and if you're looking for another video to help you win more games in College Football 25, you should definitely check out this video right here.